Solo Sikoa was on a heater, right? Like, that dude was, like, knocking it out of the park. Everything he said. And I did not have on my bingo card that the voice of reason, the voice of Sean, would be Solo Sikoa. Our names are Matt Jackson and Sean Green. We were just veterans BSing in parking lots about wrestling and their storylines until last year when, dude, why are we just talking about this? We should record it and start a podcast. When you start a podcast, you have no clue what you're doing. You fumble through all the technology.
Yep, you're back up, but you froze for about a minute. Oh, you're gone.
You rely on Google searches and reviews to piece it all together. You rely on your co-host for insightful content.
Surprise, surprise. Dude, you got an iron bladder. Decide to go again.
You make some friends along the way. The big man himself, El Jefe himself, Mikey.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we?
Hi, Nick. Long time no see.
This is going to be a match real soon.
You eventually reach 100 subscribers. Reese hit our 100 subscribers. Perfect timing for Reese. Bottom line is, as you continue to push out content, you'll always have a podcast. With all that said, welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Matt Jackson. Welcome to the welcome back edition of the If We Had the Pencil podcast. I'm your host, rusty as hell, but been working my keister off, Sean Green. And with me, as always, the rock steady, my tag team partner, Matt Jackson. Matt, how in the hell are you?
Good to see you, man. Actually, we really haven't talked much over the last 2 weeks other than chat because Mr. Green here has been extremely busy with work and travel, and July is going to be more of the same. So please be flexible with us over the summer, or at least through the end of July, and we'll keep you posted. So we may have to shift episodes. Our podcast software has updated some stuff, so now we can do studio work, so I actually have access. So if we ever have an incident where Sean can't make it, we have to cancel the pod, I'll get on there and maybe I'll cover a few things, but it would be a very condensed episode because I'm not going to sit and bore you talking for an hour and a half unless we want to talk 80s wrestling. But anyway.
Coming soon to a theater near you. No,
So we're not going to really talk about what we would have talked about last week. I think we're just going to cover some highlights, some people that stood out, because I think it also parlayed into really what went on this past weekend. It was a good building block, and they added another building block on some things this weekend. Really liked it. I like the fact that Be Creative, actually, somebody watched our podcast, one of our tens or hundreds, because we've been stressing about, we like Talatonga, but with Talatonga, we didn't see, any individuality, any personality. Because he'd come out to Solo's music, and he would never say anything. Now he's talking, and he's got his own music. So, Thank you for listening.
Everything's new and improved. New interfaces for us on our podcast software. They shout out to Riverside, man. I know everybody's got their own podcasting flavor out there, but I'm going to throw a shout out to Riverside. One thing I will always appreciate in technology is constant refinement and getting better. And Riverside just keeps on knocking it out of the park. So, kudos to Riverside on the revamped studio. Loving it.
No, so if you're thinking about doing a podcast and you're looking for a good software, we really like Riverside. We know that there's others out there, but honestly, Sean travels a lot, and he's sometime on hotel internet, and he's just got his camera and his mic. He doesn't have his full setup. Folks, I live in an RV. I got my laptop with an Opscot, $140 camera, $60 set of headsets, and the sound and the color is fantastic. So I do want to give a shout out to Riverside because they're always constantly looking to improve, and I always like the way it makes us look. Sometimes I'm a little too 4K for my own liking, but
same. But you know what, man?
Sometimes I look at me I'll watch stuff on the TV and I'll be like, oh man, honey, do I really look like that?
Look. I do have crow's feet.
Crow's feet, man. I got grooves. I look like a highway map.
Ruts.
Yeah, ruts, potholes.
But like
Erosion.
Matt said, I'm gonna let Matt drive the train. Obviously, I've been extremely busy, and Matt obviously has the fresher nuance. So he's going to pick a few topics. I'll chime in here. We're going to touch a little bit on last week. Again, thank you for your patience with us. We appreciate it. And in fairness, that's our first full week of missed podcasting for us, like ever. We've shifted left and right as needed, and unfortunately for, the situation, like we shifted and then it was like, yo, it ain't happening.
It would have been like super late at night for both of us.
I still had to pack.
And he had to pack and fly out the next day. So, yeah, it would have been,
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare.
We'd rather give you nothing than give you crap. So,
You know what, though? It's all gravy because you know who's stepping up their game right now? WWE, man. These shows are getting better right now.
Yes. Yep.
Usually it's the dog days of summer, and they're just full steam ahead.
I agree.
I don't know why we're on an international tour again, but whatevs.
Yeah, it's just they're going back to Saudi, so London's like kind of on the way, I guess. But going back to the 12th, the SmackDown from Providence, first of all, I'm very disappointed in my home state. I thought the crowd sucked from that show. That's usually a hot wrestling crowd. I was not impressed. Really not a lot to mention on that show other than Charlotte winning her fatal 4-way. Paige and Bree beating Fatal Influence in a non-title match. I kind of had my head shaking there because I thought that would have been a good opportunity for Fatal to kind of sneak one in. But it also, we're seeing how Bree and Paige are being super creative and like finding ways to hold on and win matches. So I'm kind of liking that story too. So we had a great Ray Phoenix and Axiom Cruiserweight match.
Ooh, that one was a hoot.
More typical stuff with Trick Williams and Carmelo and Ricky Saints, and I really like those three together right now. I think it's really intriguing. And please jump in whatever you want. And then we still have the ongoing drama between Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green.
Between or with? I don't know anymore. I can't tell the difference with those two.
I don't know. As long as we get some Chelsea Green. And then Jey Uso went over in his fatal 4-way.
I can't wait to talk Jey Uso, bro.
I can't wait. So we're going to start doing, Sean brought it up, and I thought it was a great idea, about for every episode, we come up with an MVP on the episode. So is it just one, or is it one on the male side, one on the female side? Or
it's the MVP of the night. So it's just the night. Like, it could be male, it could be female, it could be the tag team. It doesn't matter.
All right.
And, like, for context for everybody, so, like, 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, Solo Sikoa was on a heater, right? Like, that dude was like knocking it out of the park. Everything he said. And I did not have on my bingo card that the voice of reason, the voice of Sean, would be Solo Sikoa. And I love that it was. I love that there's such a great dynamic with him right now. I love that, let's keep in mind, all right, like, I'm still going to be real. I'm okay with the Bloodline story at this moment. I'm okay. I'm not happy with it, but I'm okay with it. And I'm willing to let it breathe a little bit. But, like, when you look at it, though, it is a lot of rehash because, like, Jacob is now filling the solo part and everything else. But what I love, and honestly, it went from, oh my God, I don't want to live this life, to it's okay now, was because of Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa, like, just in that one night and a little bit of last night, and, he has really made this compelling because whereas everybody just kind of falls in line, we're getting the band back together, and he's the only voice of reason out there going like, no, I live that life. We ain't going back to that,
Yeah.
And I joke in our text chains that, like, the Bloodline storyline, and it's not to make less of domestic violence or anything, but, like, the Bloodline storyline almost feels like an abusive relationship, right? That person that's in that relationship, and they're just like, and there's that one voice of reason out there like going, bro, really? You're just going to keep on going back. And that, and unfortunately the other person's just like, it's different this time. It's changed.
We could talk about abusive relationships. John Cena said it for 3 months, calling the fans an abusive relationship. So I kind of agree. I also like really what they've been doing with Jacob. I know it's kind of the same role as Solo, but I think Jacob's going to be, I hope if they're going to do it this way, he should be truly loyal to Roman. And
yes.
he should not turn on Roman, Roman would have to turn on Jacob.
I don't think Roman even does that. I think.
No, I think.
We can get into it.
I think that at some point Jacob's just going to be handed the keys to the kingdom. Like he's going.
I think at some point the Usos are going to get Das Boot.
Yeah,
and going to be on the outside looking in, and Jacob is going to be the boot, right?
It seems like they're rehashing the old story, but they're putting a lot more. They're putting better stuff in it. Like I'll use an example. Like I love the Top Gun movie. Original Top Gun movie was fantastic. When they did the second Top Gun movie, I was really skeptical. Like, man, you're hitting such a great movie. Like, how are they gonna do anything that I'm like, I don't think they're gonna top this. But I want it at least to be complimentary. And when people look back, they're like, yeah, well, at least the second movie wasn't a dud like so many sequels or rehashes are. And I walked out of the theater and I'm like, this is just as good as the original. Like, it had a fantasc story. I really liked it. So
it's
what I'm kind of hoping
line.
Yes,
it is a fine line.
It's hard to do in movies and television, even music. Bands will try to do a cover. Sometimes you just can never do justice to the original. So what I'm hoping with this Bloodline story is that, they're running it back and doing it again. But I'm kind of hoping, like, the sequel looks like it's going to be a little bit different. I think there's a different dynamic to it.
I think there is. I think
there's a little bit more individuality, too. Even though Roman is the boss, there seems to be a little bit more leniency and leeway, unless you're Jey Uso, and Jey Uso's he's just like that Sergeant Major.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm reserving all comments on Jey Uso for right now.
Jey is the angry Sergeant Major.
I have issues with I have issues with the Usos in general right now, and I'll hold off until we get to more current stuff. But
so let's hit the high points.
Problems.
Yes. So let's hit the high points from the show that you really wanted to go to. There was the Raw in Baltimore. And I have to be honest.
I didn't buy those tickets.
That's what I thought after I watched it. Yeah, so kind of a down Raw. So out of the 4 shows, this was probably the worst of the show. The Bloodline segment at the beginning was really good, especially when he beat up Eric Andre and splashed him twice. But then again, he's still like on the leash of Roman. But it was still
though? I went back and I've watched it twice.
Jacob would have done that if he wasn't under Roman. He would have done that on his own. So it's just like Roman's like, go ahead and have your fun. Yeah, teach him a lesson.
I guess I need a little, everybody came out of that ranting and raving, and when I watched it, and I had to watch it twice because I really felt like I was missing something. So I thought it was a good segment, but not hoot holler segment, right?
No, I do like the dynamic of Roman and Jacob. Yeah, but I'm kind of liking the dynamic of Roman and Jacob, because Roman doesn't have to say a lot to Jacob, and Jacob doesn't have to say a lot to Roman. And I like that dynamic. It's like they keep it simple. They know their roles. They're not trying to convolute anything. Like, let Jacob with Solo and Jay and Jimmy, let all that be a muddled mess. Like keep us guessing on that. But the one constant thing should be just Jacob's loyal to Roman. We all know where this is going. He's going to be the right-hand man and probably the successor when Roman leaves at some point. I kind of like how I'm not hating it as much as I did when it first started. I'm actually not hating it at all. I should really think. I don't dread seeing Bloodline stuff. I'm like, oh, here we go, Bloodline to ruin the show, because it's been pretty good. It hasn't been a letdown.
I don't disagree with that, but I will say that the one dynamic that I do like that I'm starting to pick up on is I feel like I guess if we're taking Roman at face value, he's trying to do it a little bit differently, right? And I feel like that if, with Jacob there, I feel like the Usos are just kind of running it back the way they only know how, right? Like, oh, we're Bloodline again. One's in the air, all this shit. And, it's interesting to me because, you even kind of got it in that opening segment where Roman at times was kind of giving the Usos the side eye, right? Nah, dude, we ain't doing that no more. Even though they are, and they're just okay, we'll let you be you, boo. But it is an interesting dynamic, and it kind of, we'll see as we go through this week's shows that dynamic is still kind of there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even want to talk much about the rest of that Raw because we see Gable versus Rusev, and we're going to get talking about Gable a little later on.
I have a lot to say about Gable, too.
Yeah, me too. Charlotte Flair, Perez, Austin Theory, and Javon Evans. Javon going by DQ. Oba Femi destroying Dominic Mysterio.
Thank you, Oba.
And JD at the same time.
It was.
We're going to talk about JD McDonough a little bit after.
It leads to such great shit because there's a Danhausen tie-in with it, and he Liv tries to get a.
When Dom gave him $100,000 to curse.
Before that, even Liv took a crack at it, and he was like,
wearing the shirt. I hope you paid for that.
Yeah, and then he's like, pulls up the jar of teeth, and he's like, oh, this is what I was looking for, and like all of that crap, like. The Danhausen gold that has come out of the Judgment Day stuff has just been epic, right? Like, she's like, even the laundry list of stuff that he gave to Liv Morgan, like, need to be in your music video, and I need this, and I need that, and I'm just like, I love this dude so much. Like, it was great.
And I really like the dynamic of Finn Balor being on SmackDown now, because now it also, there's a lot of back history with him and Damian Priest. That's been really interesting. And then also it's good for R-Truth because like R-Truth thinks that we're getting the band back together, the Judgment Day 2000. And it's great. It's like it's just Finn being there, which his main reason there is not to give material to R-Truth, but it's like an added bonus, Like sometimes you buy like a box of Cracker Jacks, you get a little treat inside every time. And if you got the lick-on tattoos, you were good to go. That was the best one. But anyway,
wow.
You don't remember the tattoos in the Cracker Jacks?
I do. I was more wow for the callback than anything.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, there's just been a lot of gold. I'm with you. Like I like that. There's a lot of redemption arcs going on right now. Chad Gable's got a redemption arc. Seth's kind of got a redemption arc going, and then obviously a little bit of Finn Balor too, right? Like, and we're starting to see those trials and tribulations a little bit. Like, R-Truth loves everybody, so he's just like, "Hey, Finn, we're getting the band back together," and like, Priest is like, "I don't trust you," and like. I don't want to belabor the point because we're going to expand on this a lot more because it's really going to come up in prevalence.
Pretty good. We had an 18-minute lead-in. Oh, and by the way, KO is I didn't say it on the last podcast, and last week we didn't have a podcast, so I got to get it in. KO's coming back.
Don't you tease me.
I'm saying that every
don't
podcast.
You tease me.
I got to get it in. I'll write it in the notes at some point. KO's.
Don't by the way, tease me.
In the London show last night, saw quite a few people wearing KO merch. Now, I don't know if they were selling it there, if it was just stuff people had from before, but if you looked around the crowd, there was a few different KO shirts. So, I
promise everybody that if he comes back, the very first shirt I'm wearing on this podcast is my KO shirt. Like, I will wear it.
And if I have to, I'll get a Sharpie and a white T-shirt and write KO on it.
I really need to start buying more wrestling shirts, but it seems like anytime I get a wrestling shirt, like I have a Wyatt Six shirt floating around here somewhere. That didn't last long. I have a Sami Zayn shirt. That didn't last long. Actually, that one doesn't count, though. That was a WrestleMania one. So it says WrestleZania and like KO Mania or something like that. Like whatever.
Oh, yeah. It was, when they beat the Usos.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Night one. That closed out night one, I believe.
I don't remember. It was the Hollywood one.
Yeah, because IWC hated the fact that they were closing out, I think, a WrestleMania night with a tag team match.
Well, at the time, it made sense because the biggest thing going was the Bloodline. It wasn't about that it was a tag team. It was Bloodline. And there was definite story there. So I got no faults with it. You got to play the hot hand, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
It's fine. Like, there's other stuff going on, but you got to play the hot hand.
And real quick before we get into this week, we also saw both The Miz and Kit Wilson get shocked. So it was Kit Wilson. No, Kit Wilson was like
awesome.
Yeah, toxic.
Just the Danhausen bits are so freaking stupid, and they're hilarious.
They are. I will say though, the one last night, it wasn't as well done. It was okay, but
I think because it was a continuation, right?
Yeah.
And I do. We'll get into it. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I think they're still trying to milk that Danhausen Nick's curse thing to the max. So they'll get every bit of mileage out of that they can get.
He's got merch. He's got Nick's merch.
Yeah.
Say what you will. He's the talk of the town, man. Like
he's probably out selling Nick's merch more than some of the players, I bet.
Bro, you want to talk about somebody that's like just blessed right now. Like the fact that
he got
they
invited
went
to
on
the
that
parade,
tear,
but he didn't make the parade. But then he still gets on that night and puts a joke
he did say he wanted his own parade, but you know.
Yeah, so he showed up at nighttime and asked where the parade was. He kind of pulled like a little R-Truth. He was,
cannot wait.
R-Truth is usually in the wrong place at the right time. Danhausen was in the right place at the wrong time. So
this is going to blow your mind because I'm about to say something very controversial. I cannot wait for Danhausen at the Garden on Saturday night's main event. At MSG, like I want to see that. Like I think it could be real interesting. And it's going to be Danhausen night. They're going to milk the shit out of it.
Yeah, and they're going to have the Knicks players there, I'm sure. It's going to be, They'll probably
come out like, when do I get my ring?
Yeah.
When's Danhausen get his ring?
I want my jersey housing in the rafters.
Yeah, right. All right, Matt. Let's just get into it, man.
Wait, real quick, Monday night when they were showing Madison Square Garden talking about Saturday night's main event, I noticed that the garden was lit up in red and yellow, Danhausen's colors. I don't know if it was. Was it a coincidence? I'm just throwing it out there, folks.
Hey, considering the Knicks colors are orange and blue, I don't think it's a coincidence. No. Who's red and yellow?
I mean, the lights change at the Garden all the time because they got LEDs, but just happened when WWE's filming a night shot of Madison Square Garden that it's outlined in bright yellow and red.
Well, it's by design, dude.
Yes.
It's by design. Speaking of red and yellow, though, SmackDown was in Kansas City, Missouri. Chiefs.
Yeah. And Pat Mahomes was at the race on Sunday, and I was like, who cares?
He was at Coronado. Actually, who was it? It was Zillage. Zillage actually noticed that he was in the pit box. It was like, I think both Kelsey brothers are there too. Like, all right. That crazy race. But we're not a NASCAR pod. We're a wrestling pod.
If we start talking about Sunday, that'll be the end of the podcast. But by the way,
that's a whole nother
real quick,
one.
What a great venue. I'll just say that. We talk about venues in WWE. Fantastic venue, great atmosphere. But back to wrestling, fans.
Yep, we got to stay on course because we'll just turn Clyde
Squirrel.
It'll get bad. Squirrel.
Yeah.
I'm inside today. No squirrels. So any Mother Nature critters coming after anybody,
falls on me.
Not me.
Yeah,
you.
That's right. Anything happen. We got bears. We got a pregnant raccoon in the park. So who knows what could happen.
So SmackDown kicks off. We get our friend the Glommer, who's obviously getting a very mixed reaction. And he's special guest referee for Gunther and Cody Rhodes match. Well done.
I thought Sammy was great as a special ref. He played the role perfect.
He did until he didn't, and it wasn't his fault.
No.
He stayed even-keeled. He called the match evenly until people started getting in his face or physically accosting him. And, he went into fuck it mode.
So this is what I don't get. I don't understand about Gunther. And it goes against his character. Why would he pick Sami Zayn to be the special guest ref? That goes against his character.
Because he thought he was getting an edge because there was friction between him and Cody.
But still that goes against... I see that, but I still think that goes against Gunther.
It's just playing the game, right? Like, Gunther's supposed to be this, super cerebral dude.
Well, I think he overthought it, and it cost him. So I think...
Yep. It ended up biting him in the ass, but, I don't know.
Triple H used to do that a lot, too. He would, when he was wrestling, because they called him the Cerebral Assassin, and sometimes he'd get his own cerebellum smacked around. Because he would...
No, sometimes, sometimes you're the dog, sometimes you get bit by the dog.
I still thought it was wonky. Why would he even, want Sami Zayn? I get it. Sammy's, kind of turning heel and mad at Cody, but do you really think that Sammy was going to ever be fair to Gunther?
Yeah, I do. I think if you look at how that match started, right? I think if you watch how it was reffed, how it was done, I mean, Sammy was calling it even. He was calling it straight. He was very good at calling it straight.
Yeah, with both of them.
And he called it straight, until he didn't. And he didn't after, Gunther accosted him. And it's like, all right, fine, F you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, and I get why Gunther would do it, because honestly, all he needed Sammy to do was call it straight and maybe lean a little bias towards Gunther. But Gunther effed himself because he put his hands on the guy, and the guy's just like, all right, fine, F you. And I'm out. You know what I mean? I'm going to go into business for myself. Like, so much so that we ended up with another referee. We ended up with Sammy pulling that referee out like, no, this is my match. It's a ref. And then it hit a point where Sammy does the fast count and like nothing. Shocker. Apparently I'm very controversial tonight for me being me, but even what Sammy was saying to Aldis in the back was not wrong. He's like, I didn't ask for this. You made me do this. All the stuff that Sammy was saying was legit. So like, I got no beefs.
No,
it's
me
like,
either. And
you made me do it. I don't care that Gunther's PO'd,
But I liked how they're all back there fighting after we get back. I think it was right back from the break, and they're all arguing in Gorilla, and Cody's like, F this, and out to the ring, and wants to restart the match. I kind of really like that. That's something you haven't seen done in a long time, where let's restart it. And they went, 3 minutes?
I like that he was like, fine, you want to cry about it? Fine, let's go. And
see, and I like Cody when he does that stuff, because it's like, it's the right thing to do, even though like Cody does dip his toe in like acting heelish. Like, he's a stand-up guy. So like, Gunther should now realize by now that Cody is not out trying to screw them, that Cody's just in the way. He's got something he wants.
Yeah.
He's got more of a beef with Gunther's real beef is probably with Nick Aldis, and Gunther needs to look in the mirror.
Yes. Well, and you're only going to push the GM so far, and I think we're seeing that on both brands right now, where the GMs are getting shoved around a little bit, figuratively, not actually. But I think that that's going to come back, and eventually the GMs are going to push back. But I digress on Adam Pearce right now. But after that, Jacob and Solo have a meet and greet, and Jacob basically tells him, like, family. Yeah, because Fast and the Furious.
Well, that was a message from Roman, basically, like...
Yeah. But I don't want to belay it. There's a lot of bloodline weaving through, like, a lot of this, and I don't want to deep dive on it until we get to something with the Usos. So I'm not going to harp on it. So then we get Priest, R-Truth versus Talatonga and Tamatonga, and it was a fun match. I like how that one played out too.
Yep. And I like the dynamic too, where Solo comes out. He's not happy with Tala and Tama, but earlier there was a segment before that match where even Tala spoke and said, hey, you got a lot on your plate. Stay out of our business. Like, let us handle it. So there's some friction now between Solo and his group, which I kind of like that, because that gives him more of a reason to look outside and look at, like, the Royce Keys, and he might even have...
Yeah, but I think that to a certain extent, there's a little bit of disrespect. I understand where Tala and Tama are coming from, but there is a little bit of disrespect there. Like, okay, cool, things are getting hard, and now you're like, all right, later, buddy, you're on your own. That, because the biggest problem in all this is a lot of that is not of the making by Solo Sikoa, right? Like, he didn't generate that environment, at least as the bloodline goes. He's got other irons in the fire, if you will. But like,
yeah, it just popped up for me too. But just, it said for your browser. If you refresh it, will it boot you? All right, at the 31-minute mark. Timestamp at 31 minutes. We're going to try and keep it rolling here. Okay, and he's back.
I'm back.
40 seconds later. Yeah, so when we go to edit, right about 31 minutes to 32.
Hey, it was practice for you to, like, actually do stuff and, like, when I'm not around.
We'll have to cut that. We'll have to cut that moment out. We'll look for it in post. Remember, 31 minutes to about now. So, all right, we were talking about Solo.
We were talking about Solo and how good Solo has been. Yeah, Solo's getting the raw end of the stick. He didn't create the environment that he's currently in, right? Like, that's really kind of the sticking point I have with this, which is like, okay, cool, but Solo.
Yeah, but I'm not ready for babyface Solo either. Like, I don't want.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and then Sammy was back talking with Johnny Gargano again about being the last good guy, and He did manage to get in one water bottle swipe when Aldis came over. So
Just,
I mean, but he did
my
make
God.
some good points. He was calling it down the middle, and then Gunther hit him, and then all bets are off. But I know we're hard on Sammy, but I kind of like how they're doing this slow turn. I mean, he's a heel, but like there's still some catching up with the character, and I like how they're doing that. It's not like he just overnight drastically turned heel. Like they're really adding element after element of his character. Like the whole character's not heel, but there's enough for the fans to already like to get the booze. So I enjoy how I kind of enjoy this because now with him being heelish, the glamour character kind of works.
it does. It does, and it
And
definitely helps.
And the whiny venting, especially when he's with Gargano and there's Candice LeRae just rolling her eyes like, oh, here we go again. Poor Candice.
She's just like, I can't win for losing, man. I can't win for losing.
She's going to need more therapy than Johnny.
If he can perform, I don't know. Just saying. But
Johnny's pretty good at performing being catatonic.
hey, man, sometimes you just got to lay there. I'm just saying.
I tell you what was
All right.
therapy, though. Carmelo Hayes and Ricky Saints.
Woo, that was a match. It was
Yep.
a good match, and it was fun to watch.
I think their previous match was a little bit better, but I like the fact that, again, Saints went over, but it wasn't super clean because the turnbuckle caused a demise for Hayes and all that. So I kind of like how they write, like, he went over clean, but there was a catch to it. So, man, I almost brought a beer out for this one because it's so hot.
I actually went for the only thing that was cold and wet. So
There you go.
that's what I'm stuck with. No, love this match. It was exciting. And it's interesting because you can tell Hayes and Saints and Trick, they all kind of got, I'm sure it's NXT ties, but like they all got like interactive, they got chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
So like, and their in-ring stuff has got chemistry too, which is really great.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get the buy-in now with Ricky Saints too. It's still not totally there, but I will say I enjoy watching Ricky Saints more than I enjoy watching Ethan Page.
Yeah.
I can get into that a little bit on Raw, but
I'll get into it on Raw because I actually liked his match on Raw.
I did like his match on Raw. I thought it was very good.
I thought that to date, since coming to the main roster, last night was probably the best I've seen, or best match I've seen from Ethan Page that I really liked. Like,
yeah.
But again, like, I'm trying to be fair with these guys, especially all the
me too.
newer ones, because like they got to get their foothold, they got to get into their groove, they got to get stuff going. So so the Ethan Pages of the world, the Ricky Saints of the world, it's going to take a minute. I just got to get used to them. I got to see who they are. And like, I'm starting to get a vibe. I was happy that we got Ethan Page without Rusev last night,
Yep.
and like, we got to see him kind of on his own. So like, there was a lot of good that came out of that, but
I did
like
that. But I do like the fact that like Ricky Saints has come up and he's instantly involved in a title picture.
And I think that goes back to the chemistry, though, right?
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
They're vibing, so to speak, right?
And I kind of like it where Carmelo and Trick still have heat, but there's some respect there. I love it when they'll go back and forth, and Ricky Saints will say something, and like both of Carmelo and Trick will team up really quick to just talk shit to Ricky Saints, and then they'll go back to jaw jacking each other. Like they put Ricky in his place collectively, and then they go back to verbally assaulting each other. It's little things like that I really like.
So in another nod to alcoholism, Cody tells Nick Aldis that he wants a triple threat at a Night of Champions with Gunther and Sammy. So like, at this point, we're all feeling bad for Nick and Adam Pearce to a certain extent. Like, alcoholism is your friend at this point. Like, dude, I don't know how he holds it together. But, again, typical setup kind of stuff. Like, okay, this is what you're getting now. And then we get Charlotte. I'm not going to belabor the Charlotte point because Charlotte is basically hyping up her match for later on. You know what I mean? Like, some of this stuff that they're doing is typical cookie cutter and probably doesn't need to be elaborated on. We get, we've kind of talked Danhausen to death. So, like, I love Danhausen. He always has a special place on this podcast. Him, R-Truth, Chelsea Green, Paul Heyman, they all they're up here for us. So But yeah, like his bits have just been great, but we kind of touched on them already. So
You think the word would get out in the locker room like, don't touch Danhausen's equipment?
all right, Matt, we're up to it. Jey Uso and Javon Evans. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you a legit question specific to Jey Uso at this moment in time. Is he a face or a heel?
Depends if he's taking his meds or not. And what he's, I guess he's bipolar, so whatever side of the pole he's.
Bro.
Because he was yeeting, the outfit was not Bloodline related. He was back in the colorful outfit. Like he was main event early 2025 Jey Uso.
I think this is my biggest problem with the Bloodline story. This is my biggest problem with the Usos. This is my biggest problem. They are so over, like anybody that's going to argue that they're tweeners, right? Well, the beauty, if you're actually going to pull off being a tweener, you have to be as close to the tweening as possible, right? Like I lean a little bit heel, I lean a little bit face. Jey Uso, bro, from entrances throughout the match, everything that went on in this match with Javon Evans, that dude was like a damn pendulum, man. It's like, I'm a heel, I'm a face. I'm a heel, I'm a face. And
I think it depends on
fluctuations
but Javon's
so
not a
bad.
threat. Javon's not a threat to the Bloodline. So I think like Jey could be the happy face Jey because Javon's not a threat.
But during the match, he wasn't though. Like that's my point. Like he came out as a face, then he started doing heel shit, then he went back to being a face. Like, dude, the pendulum was just so freaking vast with him. And to a limited extent, Jimmy too. Like, it's my biggest problem. Like, if you're going to be a tweener, which I might argue Roman is flirting with being a tweener right now, he's probably the closest one of the group. That's him and Jacob, honestly, are more towards, that
I think
the pendulum's
Jacob
only
is
swinging like this.
Jacob's more of a face because when he splashed Eric Andre, crowd went nuts for it. So anything,
just because the crowd cheers for it doesn't mean it's a face.
It depends on what he sees
the
to
problem.
do, but
because
I
at
think
the end of the
Jacob
day,
is more face
there's
than
a
Roman.
let's clarify this real quick. And we'll use Eric Andre as the example. Okay. You cheer because he took a guy that's not a wrestler.
That's true. We always like it when celebrities get beat up.
A celebrity got beat up. So we're going to cheer. There's a distinct difference between that and seeing somebody get their comeuppance. Okay. That's what I'm getting at, right? Like, okay, Eric Andre touched the Olafala, but at the end of the day, it was just a celebrity being a celebrity getting his ass whooped. There's a difference between cheering for that and a difference between cheering for Dominic getting his ass whooped by Oba Femi. I was cheering because I was happy Oba Femi was whooping Dom's ass. Yeah. Okay? There's the difference, right? Like, I just wanted to see Dom get his ass whooped, so I'm cheering for that. Exactly, right? So, and that's the power of Dominic as a heel, right? Like, he's the annoying heel. He's the face that you just want to punch. So, the fact that you can do that with Dom, that's the distinction, right? Like, they cheered for Jacob, he's a face. No. Just because they acknowledge Roman Reigns, that doesn't make him a face.
No, but
your
I'm saying
actions
to me,
make you a face.
I still think, because me, I'm not a huge Roman fan, but I still think Jacob is kind of on that face
He is
side.
definitely leaning more face, but my point in this is when you look at
his integrity, he lost and then he acknowledges Roman and he still does. And, he's not running amok, but like the stuff he does, I think still gravitates towards the face side. I would say Roman's more of he's a tweener. WWE's trying as hard as hell to push him to be a face, but the fans won't let him turn heel like Cena. But I mean, Roman does as heelish stuff as anybody on the roster.
Yeah, I know.
And the fans love it. But you know what?
My point is
Stone Cold did that. I mean,
Stone Cold's a unique case. Like, you can never use Stone Cold. The problem with Stone Cold was the anti-hero.
Yeah. And we identify...
He's Batman, right? Like, he's doing effed up stuff, but we love him because we kind of understand his motivations, and that's just who he is. So
I kind of live vicariously through Steve, beating up Vince and all like the... everybody wants to go to work and talk shit like
punch
Steve
their
did.
boss in the face or hit
punch
him with a bedpan.
Yeah, call your coworkers stupid sons of bitches.
But my point in that is that we're walking a very fine line, and it's with the bloodline, it's very challenging because I don't know who you are. And like the entire bloodline for the most part, outside of probably Jacob, is quasi bipolar. But with Jey Uso obviously being the furthest ends of the spectrum, right? Like, I'm coming out and yeeting, and then I'm gonna roll it back because I'm a dick. And like, okay, cool. You know, you do you. But like at the end of the day, I don't understand their motivations. Like, I don't understand their tendencies. I don't think motivations is the right word. I don't understand their tendencies. Like, if you're gonna be lovey-dovey with the crowd, be lovey-dovey with the crowd. That's a face. But if
I
you're
think,
just
I
gonna
think creative at times, they're trying to push their will on the fans of what they want these guys to be, and the fans just aren't.
have we learned
buying it.
nothing?
Yeah,
Have we learned nothing?
the fans make the decision.
We have the poster child for this, and it just happened. The whole Mass v Mass match with El Grande Americano and Original Americano. That is the poster child. The fans told you, point blank,
Look,
this is what
The
I
Rock,
want.
The Rock, when he first came up, they pushed him as this, ethnic baby face because WWE, WWF, WWF
try
is always
hard.
about
Rocky Maivia.
ethnic, right? And the fans shit all over it to the point where they was writing signs wishing that he would die.
Die,
Like,
Rocky,
'cause
die.
Die, Rocky, die. And what happens? They turn him heel, and he goes to the Nation of Domination, and then
Which
we really
makes
get
sense.
yes.
It-
So
It makes sense. But my point is when I look at I think it's too easy to conflate fan interaction as a person being over or being a face, right? Like, people accuse LA Knight, people accuse, there's other wrestlers on the roster where they go, they're just a catchphrase, or they're just, they did it to Jey Uso. He's just an entrance. People minimalize their shit, right? But in the same breath, they look at the bloodline and they go, oh, they're putting ones in the air. He's so over. And it's like, no, just because everybody's yeeting doesn't mean he's necessarily over. And just because people are throwing ones in the air doesn't mean he's necessarily over. This is where the nuance and the in-depth storytelling matter, right? Like, Jacob is a compelling figure because we're really kind of on this journey with Jacob of, we know you're the Samoan werewolf. We know you're this big thing. We know you're capable of operating on your own, and you don't need this group. Like, it is compelling to watch him. And that's why we're invested, because the storytelling for him is good. Solo Sikoa has upped his game. Why? Because now we're like, I wonder where this is going.
yeah, there's some meat on the bone with Solo now. I mean, they have
Solo's out there doing his own thing, right? There's meat on the bone there. Solo has nuance. He has depth to his character. But again, like, I have a hard time with the bloodline right now with the three main ones. So the Usos and Roman, where I have a hard time, especially with Jey, really pegging down what we're going for, right? There's a difference between, how do I put this? So if Jey came down and his tendencies were, I come down, I interact with the crowd, I eat with everybody, and then I'm going to fight you hard, but I also might do some effed up stuff. Like heel-ish, Cody does this, right? Like, Cody does heelish things, but Cody is definitely a face.
right.
You can accept that.
Hogan did heelish stuff all the time on his run.
The problem
He's
is
the biggest baby face.
Jey goes, I'm eating, I'm going to like be a total douche.
Yeah.
And like that's
one
the
minute
problem.
he's eating, and then the next night he's hitting LA Knight with a chair. So like
yes, and that's the rub, right? Like, that's why I have a hard time with them, because I don't know who you are. And when I don't know who you are, it's hard for me to invest, because I don't know who you are.
I have a question for you about Jimmy and Jey, because I didn't follow the Usos like probably like their first few early runs back when they wore the face paint and then they transitioned out of it. Well, I just don't know if Jey was always like the hothead even back then, and Jimmy was the voice of reason. Is that indicative of their character, or
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't even want to lie to you or pretend that I know. I
I've been married twice, so I figure I can figure people out pretty good. I still can't figure out if Jay's like. You have to like.
The problem
watch
is that like Jimmy is obviously the better mic guy, right? But when we have seen where Jay and Jimmy are together and feeding off of each
work
other,
really good off each other. Sometimes
they're like one entity. When they are not Jimmy and Jay and they are the Usos, it works so effing well. And then when it's
Jake gets so worked up in promos, he blows himself up. He did it last night with Oba.
He was bloated up.
I'm like, what the hell, dude? You came out to the ring and you talked and you're out of breath. Like, what the hell, dude?
I'm out of gas, man.
Yeah.
All gas,
Well,
no brakes.
We talk about this match.
All brakes, no gas.
This match did over-deliver with Jay and Javon Evans, and I get more and more impressed with Javon every time I see him. Like, for such a young guy, the stuff he does veteran stuff. He does stuff that more experienced wrestlers do, and he's figured it out. Like, his psychology, his selling, his timing is great.
That's what I was going to hit on, his selling. Like, this match was like...
Sold the ribs like they were legit broke.
Yeah, like, he did a great job of selling. Great job. But... all right, let's keep on trugging along, man. I know we haven't got we're a week behind, so we haven't gotten to talk about, but we're only into SmackDown now.
But we're talking about some good stuff here. So
I know, yeah. So Tiffany and Chelsea backstage. That's been great. You know, I'm not going to belabor it. Like, it's a will they, won't they thing. Solo again this night is just killing it. He's like, yo.
Gives a heads up that you'll probably see him on Raw. So I like that.
It's like, just letting you know. You know, Jay talking shit to Cody now. Charlotte getting attacked by Jade. We all knew how this was going. I kind of like that because I was like, all right, so we had to do an injury angle on Charlotte so Liv could go over.
Right, and that sets up Charlotte versus Jade at SummerSlam probably.
But it's more so like, I appreciate and like Liv Morgan. I don't know why she's in this effing tournament, and I don't know why, like, you couldn't have a legit match of her and Charlotte. Like, instead, we had to do this injury angle, and as soon as the knee got taken out, I went, ugh.
So with that, do you think Liv Morgan is winning the Queen of the Ring, or do you think it's EO's? It's all about EO.
My head kind of says they're pushing Liv for a reason. I don't see it. But on the flip side, I think you have EO go.
Well, I would like to have EO go over because then EO challenges Liv Morgan, and then if she wins the title, you got Rhea. You got Rhea on one brand and EO on another one, which probably was set up. Is Crown Jewel coming up?
I'm sure. I don't know. We're going back to Saudi, so
because if you can set that up with EO and Rhea, because that's a long time feud. Rhea's never beat EO and all that. That'd be fine. But I'm not a huge Liv Morgan fan. I guess
she's come a long way.
Her character.
She's come a long way.
Her in-ring ability is great. She's just annoying, and that's her character, and I get it, and it works. So
from Jersey, dude.
I know.
Like, she plays the Jersey chick like
where I'm
very
from,
well.
We can't for people from Jersey. You know, us people around Boston and close to it. We thought people from New Jersey were obnoxious. Sorry, Nick. But
to be honest with you, she fulfills like almost every stereotype I've ever had about people from Jersey. And I'm not saying that to be a dick.
And your favorite musician is from New Jersey, Bon Jovi.
Fuck that dude.
I don't know if you ever told the story on the podcast why you hate Bon Jovi.
All right. Quick night. Especially with the Bills, it's actually perfect timing, right? So ribbon cutting ceremony at the new stadium today, right? So the Bills got a new stadium. Freaking when Ralph Wilson died. And of course now my camera is going to jack up.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, I know. The voice is what they all come from anyways. When Ralph Wilson passed away, the big push was who's going to buy the Bills. And there were nightmare scenarios all over the place. There was talk that Trump was in the running. There was talk that, there was Rogers Group that also included Bon Jovi out of Toronto, which would have meant that the Bills would have moved to Toronto. So, and it was looking like before the Pagulas came out of nowhere, it was looking like the Rodgers group had the strongest bid. And we're like, holy crap, we're losing the Bills to Toronto. And, you know, so now everybody's pissed off at Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi writes this half-hearted, like, letter of, you know, he never says we're not going to move the team, but, you know, we're going to be in this together. Rah-rah, sis kumbah, bullshit.
But he doesn't not say he's not going to move the team either.
No, he never says it. So everybody's like, F Bon Jovi, because he's trying to take away our football team. So, like, literally when it was looking like Rodgers' group was going to get it and the team was going to get moved, I was literally looking across the league for a new team. Like, I was doing my preliminary scouting for a new team. That's how desperate it was.
Patriots would have been a wise choice.
I can't do that. You might as well just tell me to be a Jets fan.
No, don't do that. That's horrible.
Yeah. No. So one of the things that took place was a lot of Bills fans and bars and organizations in Western New York would not play Bon Jovi on the jukebox. They would not play it in their place. Bon Jovi was pretty much banned because he was trying to take our team to Toronto. So I loathe and despise Bon Jovi. And while I appreciate the 5 or 6 songs that everybody knows, and if I hear them, I know them, when I'm in the car, when I'm anywhere and I have control of the music or influence on the music, every Bon Jovi song gets skipped. So there is your why Sean hates Bon Jovi moment of greatness. And now I'm going to toggle my camera to hope that it catches up. I'm still here.
Yeah. All right, and I'm still here as well. And that is what wraps up SmackDown last week.
I know.
Really
I want
good
to get
show.
into Raw, man.
Raw last night. So I forgot it was at 2 o'clock, and I was out running around, and then, you know, got home, and I'm like, I didn't start watching till about 3:30, 4 o'clock here Central Time. So I was a couple hours behind. You were a couple hours behind me. So I was expecting more from the London crowd. It was a good crowd. It wasn't your typical UK crowd, but it was good. I liked how they kicked it right out with Oba Femi, so really hot way to start out the show. I love the camera work and the lighting WWE does. Even my wife called it out. They silhouette him against like 2 sections of the crowd where you see like his shadow and then it has the blue light. It just looks awesome. Everything about his presentation is awesome. From the lighting to the music to what he's even wearing. Like if he's not in fighting gear, he's always dressed like really nice. Like even Christy's like, she goes, I bet he even smells good. Like he probably like, you walk by and like, oh,
Effervescent.
yeah. like he's just got a great look, and just the way that they market that guy and present him on television looks awesome. Just, I mean, and then they kept chanting his name and chanting his name. He had to calm him down. I liked how he talked about winning the King of the Ring tournament, who he's got to challenge. And he kind of played a test survey with the audience. You know, he brought up Cody, no response, and then he talked about Roman, and I guess we know that's what the fans really want to see is Oba and Roman down the line.
Yes.
And then out comes your boy Jay to defend the honor of the family because he happened to mention the family. And now we get quasi-heel, more of a tweener Jay actually, because he doesn't really hate on Oba. Doesn't love on him either, so I think he kind of played it pretty good. Jay definitely did seem to be a little overstimulated last night after he blew himself up in 30 seconds.
Stuff is glitching. This is what happens when you go back into the studio after not being in here for a while. Like everything stops working.
I think Sean is having some problems here with his audio side.
It's crazy.
You have internet issues or something. Can you hear me? All right, so Sean dropped off. So while we're in the middle of him dropping off, and we apologize for the issues, but he just did reset up his studio today. So he worked today, and then he came home and was setting it up. So he's been mobile quite a bit. I really like though what Oba did. Jay coming out, and then Oba just doesn't buy what he's selling, and then it tells Jay to his face like, "You're not the family member that I'm worried about." And I thought that was such a good line. Says regardless if Jay takes him out or not, he's going to destroy Jay. So pretty cut and dry about what was going on in that promo. Really liked it. Oba doesn't say a lot. He doesn't, he doesn't get really elaborate with his words. It's kind of straight and to the point, and that kind of fits the character Oba. It's kind of straight and to the point. Not a lot of flair, not a lot of over the topness. It's just he's like just this big guy who's the destroyer and just says what he says, and it doesn't have to be complicated. So really, really, really like that with the, and I'm sure when Sean gets back on, we'll dig deep into that a little bit more. Really, Sean and I have talked too. And I brought up the fact that if he's supposed to do his third match with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, to me, there's no reason why he can't win the King of the Ring tournament. Because what you can do is you can have him and Roman on night one of SummerSlam, even the first match of the card. That's fine. He can have his title match, and then, of course, we know that, probably the main event of SummerSlam or close to it will probably be the Oba and Brock blow-off match. You're definitely going to have that night two. If it's not the main event, it's going to be featured on night two if they do it, and that's pretty much how I think that's going to go. Trying to find out what's going on with Sean. He might be doing a system reboot. We'll find out here in a second. Talk a little bit about LA Knight with Pierce in the background. Great little segment back there. I love that LA Knight keeps calling out Pierce because he thinks Pierce is being a little easygoing. And Sean is back, I think. He's trying. I think I can. Here he is. All right, I just kept on gabbing for a little bit. I hope so. Basically, we were talking about Oba and Jay when you went off, and I talked about how we talk about presentation, but I like what Oba, when he talks, it's not overwordy. It fits his character because Oba's not flashy. He's just a butt kicker. He's the ruler. He comes out. I love the line he says when he tells Jay to his face that you're not the family member that I'm even worried about. Like, pretty much like, not worried about you. I thought that was fantastic. Says he's going to destroy Jay. What are your thoughts on the opening segment for Raw with Oba and Ray?
Anytime that you start with Oba Femi is a good time. I also learned a valuable lesson. When you have not used your in-studio setup, it is probably wise to A, reboot, B, reboot your freaking Chrome, which has been pending updates, which was causing all my lag. So, learning on the fly as we go. Oh, yeah. I looked in the upper corner, it was like, restart Chrome, and I'm like, apparently Danhausen cursed me. I don't know.
No.
But no, anytime you start off with Oba Femi, Jay got crushed in that promo battle, hard. It was not pretty. It was for Jay, it was a good promo, but Oba just sat there and rolled his eyes. He was okay, little man, we're going to do this. Okay. And Jay brought up good points. Hey, you've always doubted me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just true. Not going to argue that, but yeah. So it's real interesting that, that little dynamic. I don't know how you get out of it. I mean, look, if this ends where it's just Brock Lesnar coming in and taking out Oba Femi, I don't know what I got for you, man. That's going to be the cheapest, cheesiest way out of keeping Oba Femi out of the radar.
Yeah, that'd be making chicken shit out of a chicken salad rather than the
it'd
other
be
way
horrible.
Around. So while you were rebooting things, I brought up the point, we've talked about it before, and I still hold to it, that you can have Oba Femi win the King of the Ring tournament and wrestle Brock Lesnar on at SummerSlam. Because you could just have Roman. You could have Roman and Oba night one. You could even kick off the show with it. Put it on ESPN. And then night two, you can have Oba and Brock. And
they've really kind of painted themselves in a corner.
I think that would make sense, too, because now you really get to see what Oba's like. You put him back to back. If you want to see how, if you want to portray him as this ruler, as this beast, all right, so you got to fight Roman Reigns on night one, and then you got to fight Brock Lesnar night two. I think that's a good litmus test to see where they're going with Oba Femi. So I do. I think the smart call is that Oba wins this tournament. Because if Jay wins it, does that get him back in Roman's good graces? How does it advance the story? I think it advances that Bloodline storyline more if Jay loses.
I don't, because I think there is a way to play it where Jay wins the King of the Ring, and he just gets so full of himself that
it kind of
twists things on its head.
And it's more more opportunity for Jacob to talk down to Jay. Like, you couldn't even, you didn't win your King of the Ring tournament you were supposed to win. Roman can be upset with Jay. Like, so that only means that Jay's, like, got Jimmy there to be like, hey, it's all right, little brother, we'll get through this, So I think it's more advantageous. I think it's better for storyline purposes to me if Jay loses, because then it can kind of
it's probably
cause more
fair. It's just, I don't know.
Plus,
there's some rough shit in there because, like, nobody wants to see Jay win.
and I'm not saying
nobody
I'm not
wants to
even,
see Oba Femi lose, and nobody wants to see Jay win.
right.
Like, that's the problem WWE has. Like, Jay goes over. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, are they just going for the cheap pops because it's Saudi? Like, just the entrance, you could have that be a 5-minute squash match. Honestly, you could have Oba Femi, like, because
Here's the thing:
this goes.
would they fly would Brock Lesnar fly all the way to Saudi to do a run-in?
If the money's right,
That's true. They give him a lot of money.
dude, and like, on the real, like, let me put it to you this way: are we seeing Oba Femi and Jay have two of the most engaging entrances in WWE? Right? Everybody likes to eat. Everybody likes to do the Oba and do the strut and all that stuff. Are they really doing this just to get that part of it? Like, there's an argument to be made that, like, if this ends up being a squash, like, that could kind of be cool for Oba. Like, him squashing Jay would be epic, because are you going to tell me that the guy that beat Brock Lesnar, the guy that got up from 7 F5s, that guy is going to lose to Jey Uso?
Yeah.
It's the Gunther problem, right? Gunther doesn't have credible losses, right? Because when you look at Gunther's losses, it's, with the exception of, like, Cody Rhodes, he lost to Jey Uso and Sami Zayn.
But
Right?
Oba's always,
So,
but
like,
Oba's already lost to Brock Lesnar, so that's a solid loss right off the bat there. That's a good loss, because also prolonged that feud. So Oba's got his good loss already.
but it took, like, a gazillion F5s
Right,
to put
sure.
Oba down. What
As
does
it
Jay
should.
have in his arsenal that is going to do anything to Oba Femi?
What's he going to spare Oba till his shoulder breaks?
What a great freaking moment that would be. He goes for the spear and Oba just takes it, just stands there, like, it's like hitting a wall. It's like he tries to spear a wall and Oba just sits there, like, Jay just comes in and, like, that would be cool.
I tell you, it would be, if there's a way that Jay could go for the spear against Oba and Oba catches him and, like, picks him up and does that ring toss, if they could do that in one motion, or even if he could go for the spear and he can catch him and do that power bomb that he does for his finisher, either one would be fine.
I just don't know how you get out of it. Like, do you just get the entrances? You're like, oh, Jay's eating. All right. Woo. The Saudi crowd is eating. And woo. We all did the Oba strut. And then Oba just destroys him. Like, because I don't see how you beat Oba Femi without shenanigans.
How many matches are on the card this weekend? I know we're getting away from Raw, but it's pertinent. I think there's 6, right? Is this a 6-match card? Because I'm thinking if it's a 6-match card, that would allow for this to be a shorter match.
Well, then, we're going to pull up Night of Champions and see what shows.
5, but
Night of Champions, Saturday, June 27th.
yeah, because you got the triple threat.
All right. So, triple threat.
Yeah, that's 1. You got Trickin' Ricky Saints, that's 2. Excuse me, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, that's 4.
Jey Uso, Oba Femi, Cody Rhodes. Hold on, it's
Yep.
For some reason they have, like,
but
old shit in here too. So say Io and Liv, Tiffany and Jade.
That's the 5th match right there. I thought there
Seth
was a
and
6.
Braun, steel cage.
Said the cage, so there is 6. So there's 6 matches.
So you got Seth and Braun, steel cage. That's going to be a hot effing minute. Tiffany and Jade, that could be okay.
10 minutes.
Io and Liv better be a hot minute.
Yep.
Ricky Saints and Trick Williams.
I'll go 10 to 15, probably 10 to 12.
Sammy Gunther, and then Oba Jay. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, so
like,
the triple. That's what I'm saying. You got 6 matches on the card, so you're probably going to have a shorter match, and that's your Oba Jay 3 to 5 minute squash.
Hopefully.
You know why there's 6 matches instead of 5 for this PLE? Because Roman's not there. and one Roman entrance equals one match. So if Roman was on the card, you'd have 5 matches. That's it, at most. Maybe 4.
Boy,
Roman's not going to Saudi. Yeah, we can stuff 6 matches on this card.
we got
Like,
time.
woo! We're almost approaching AEW land with their, 14-match PLEs that they have.
Dude, like...
That's not a dig on AEW. I'm just saying,
No.
AEW PLEs are known for, a lot of matches.
If you stop and think back to what PLEs used to be, right? Like those marathon days, the mania that never ended, like that crap is just whoo, child.
But also, I remember back in the early days of WrestleMania, you'd have 10, 11 matches on a pay-per-view, and it'd be done in less than 3 hours. But the problem was you had a lot of 3, 4, 5, 6-minute matches that were just filler. At least now you're getting a little bit more than just these little short matches that and really didn't do much back then, other than just get everybody on the show. But I digress. But I think 6 matches and a 3-hour show ish. I think you're going to see one of them be shorter.
Gotta pay the bills, bro. Gotta pay the bills.
Well, yeah. Saudi pays a lot of money. They want their stuff. So
they want what they want. So I'm not judging them, but
no, I'm not either. It's actually a pretty decent card. So we'll see.
All right. So where are we at here? Since I've had to reset 50 freaking times.
So we had a little interaction with LA Knight and okay, good, you caught up.
Yeah, LA Knight and Pierce, which just there is a little bit of conspiracy theory with LA Knight that I think is effing hilarious. Obviously he thinks Pierce is involved, so it's kind of funny. It's funny to me, honestly. So I love it. But this is why Pierce is going to have a drinking problem.
Yeah, but it's not like Knight is wrong. I mean, if you look at it from the outside, I kind of see the same thing LA Knight sees. So I like it. Again, really good. I liked it. And then you set up the match for later on in the show with LA Knight and Jimmy Uso.
Yep. So after that we get Paige and Bree versus Lyra and Bailey. And honestly, the main thing that comes out of this, Lyra goes nuts and turns on Bailey. So that's the main takeaway from this one.
I'm just glad they didn't have a Bailey heel turn, because that would have been would have made no sense. You could see these two were going to split up down the line. I'm just glad that they did it the way they did. Sean, going to shock you. I'm not hating Paige and Bree as a team.
No,
they're putting the work in.
Get her done. That's kind of where they're at right now. They're the get her done bunch.
They're hanging in there. They're not. They're fitting in well. They're starting to gel. Again, this was a team that was just thrown together, so now they're getting their reps in. So they're getting better. Really like the way Lyra turned heel on Bailey. When she slammed her into the ropes, the first camera angle that caught it live, it looked like a really stiff shot. And I even wrote it in my notes. And then when you saw a different one on instant replay, I was like, it wasn't that bad. But the first camera angle looked brutal. So it was nice that she beat down Bailey and Lyra snapped, and Lyra doesn't want to talk backstage. I thought that was all done really well.
Her huffing at the mic on the way out, I was just she's like, what was that? And she's just she kind of harumphed. And I was like, cool, good answer. I'm on Family Feud, right? Good answer. And
I think this was a good opportunity for them to turn Lyra heel, because she was kind of losing momentum with the crowd the last few weeks. It just didn't seem like it was there, and I think it'll be good for Bailey. I think it'll be good for Lyra. I think Lyra fits in better as a heel anyway. We shall see.
Well, now I think with anybody, the plucky underdog shtick only goes but so far, right?
Yeah.
You can be the under, I'm fighting from underneath person so much before it just gets tiresome, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with Lyra. Okay, cool. Ready for you to be out. All right.
Speaking of out, this is a guy I know you want to talk about a lot. Chad Gable.
I do. Chad Gable. All right. So bottom line up front, Chad Gable's been on his apology tour, right? And then obviously at some point he has to apologize to Alpha Academy. And, so he asks Alpha Academy to come out. He owns up for his mistakes and, everything goes down, and bottom line up front, Maxine Dupree stands up to him, reminds him of what jackass he was, and all the shitty things that he did, and then basically says, we're not accepting your apology. You've got to see Otis, who didn't say a word, look extremely conflicted during this, which was great. There was a lot of greatness in this. Like, there was a lot of good. And
what Chad was talking about, now I don't know how, have they been really friends for like 20 years and the whole marriage and holding the kids?
He was given the history. Like, it was like,
that was
bro.
so good.
And on top of that,
Chad
though,
being emotional while his emotions while giving it, like getting teary-eyed. Oh, it was really passionate.
No,
Excellent.
it was so well done. But the thing with the Chad Gable apology tour, which is what I really appreciated about last night, was everybody up to this point was just like, we get it. You now understand. And this is why, we forgive you because now you understand. And that's mostly from the luchador side of the house. I think Alpha Academy is more personal, and he's getting told, like, no, you cut us all really, really deep. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I did too. And I liked how, like, Otis was almost there. Like, he almost went back, but, he was. I think it's good. Chad's going to work for it. Like, I think it's a good life lesson, too. Some people are easier to forgive than others, and
well, he should have to work for it, though.
Yes.
And that was kind of my whole point in this, where, like, everybody else from the luchador community was really like, yeah, we're cool. It was like, we get it. We're better now. And, like, this case is just like, nah, brah. No, that's not how this works. And I freaking loved it. I loved it because I was getting kind of tired of he would just go on this apology tour and then, like, all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, we cool. And I'm like, really? Like, after all that, we're just, it's kind of like the Roman Reigns thing. Like, really? That's okay, cool.
Yep.
So
it's going to be something where he's got to try to earn their trust. And I think that I think Otis will end up being okay with Chad as Sean drops off yet again to fix his camera.
No,
Hopefully.
I'm here vocally. It's just, I don't know, man. Chrome ain't playing nice tonight.
No, it's not. But I think this is a good way to get Maxine in with the Vision. I think this will be a good way for her to split off because she just may not be able to forgive Chad. Otis and probably maybe Tozawa, I can see those two being cool with Gable. I don't think they should reunite as a stable. But I think Maxine will be the one that just can't find a way to forgive herself, and she ends up going to the Vision. Because there's been way too many sightings of her and Austin Theory together.
What? For what, though? To what end? Like, the Vision's got a problem. Like, especially after last night and no Paul Heyman. Vision's got a problem. So, like, what are we doing?
We'll see. So we're good on the whole Chad Gable story?
Yeah, no. The biggest takeaway is that, like, I like that he has to work for this one. That's why I was cheering. I was like, everybody has been so freaking forgiving of him, which I didn't have a problem with. But now it's like, nah, brah. Nah. You got to earn it now. And I like that he has to work for it. And he should have to work for it.
Oh, I can't wait to see what it's like when I start doing shorts for this week. There'll be an S for Sean, maybe his face, half an S, half his face. We'll see how. Gotta love technology. Bitchin' technology. And then we get Dragon Lee and Ethan Page in a one-on-one matchup. That was really good.
It was Ethan. I said this earlier. So that was Ethan Page's best performance that I have seen to date. And, like, I like that Rusev wasn't out there. I like that, like, he was doing it on his own. It was a good showing for Ethan Page.
Yeah, and then I still like the fact that Page still had to kind of cheat to win, with the low blow, and that was good because it also keeps Dragon strong, and I really think they're trying to keep the momentum going with Dragon. I think they got a lot of high hopes for that guy. So,
and they should. He's talented as all get out, man.
He's also the AAA, what? I think there's so many titles down there. Cruiserweight. Champion, yeah.
No. Ray Phoenix is.
That's it, Ray Phoenix. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ray Phoenix is the Cruiserweight champion.
Sorry, folks. Sometimes I get Dragon and Ray Phoenix confused. Don't know why. Just I've done it several times in the past, but yeah. No, I mean, they're trying to keep Dragon Lee hot, which they should, because he's got Ray's endorsement. He had that nice run with AJ Styles, so I like to keep. I think they'll keep going with more of this stuff. Page look really good. His rest. I would like to see. They keep talking about how he has a background in martial arts and a black belt. Maybe he should incorporate a little bit more of that into his repertoire. Maybe if they're going to talk about it, why aren't we seeing a little bit more of that?
I think it'll come out. I just don't think it's a now thing.
I mean, I'm not asking to be like Ricky Steamboat and throwing nothing but chops and kicks, but if you're in the martial arts, like you should have some of them holds, arm bars, or takedowns, or even the kicks or the strikes, and we don't see a lot of that from Ethan, which would be great for him to use, like to maybe reverse, to reverse a move or make a comeback or something like that. He could use that. He gets whipped in the corner, someone charges at him, he can just hit him with with a savate kick or something like that. I mean, if he does martial arts, that would make sense. So I
think it depends on opponent too, though. So I'm not gonna Judgy McJudgerson him on that. So,
but no, it was a solid match. I really liked it, and I'm glad he didn't have Rusev, and I'm glad it stayed 1-on-1. I was pretty happy with that. We didn't get a lot of outside interference and shenanigans. They've toned that down a little bit lately.
We get a lot of backstage stuff, though. So we get Jackie with the Vision, like rah-rah, Siskumba. Like, in your notes, you got that Braun's kind of holding down the fort. I do see Vision as rudderless a little bit. It's like the lunatics running the asylum, right?
Yeah.
Like, Braun is the 18-year-old watching the 13-year-olds, so to speak, when it comes to Austin Theory and definitely Logan Paul. So, I
still like what he's doing because I like the way he's taking charge. The problem is that nothing's working out. But at least and I have to say, having Logan Paul, even though he's not cleared, and I don't know when he will be cleared, just the fact they brought him back prior to him, I like that. They did that with CM Punk when CM Punk had his tricep surgery. So my thing is, like, some of these guys, you can still have them active while they're hurt and they can't compete. Logan Paul was great Monday night. Like, all the stuff he did, and we'll get onto it later with the main event, but I mean, my God, like, why would you not put this guy on TV even if he's hurt? I mean, he's great on television. He's one of the best heels they got, other than probably Dom Mysterio. Like, gets nuclear heat. And it just seems it seems like the Vision is still they're more of a threat, even if he's wounded, him being around. And they started talking Bronson Reed. Michael Cole started talking Bronson Reed, so he's right around the corner. And he kind of not so subtly
bring him back.
That, oh, man.
Bring him back. I'm ready for him to come back, too.
Now we just need them all to stay healthy and get on a good run with multiple storylines that could advance that faction. Because just as that faction gets cooking, someone gets hurt, and they go 2 steps back, and then they got to kind of, reconvene. What's game plan B, and then somebody else gets hurt. So, people go hard on the Vision, like, injuries have really kind of cursed that faction since they come up. Like, they haven't had a super sustain with the 4 of them just wreaking havoc. And hopefully with Logan and Bronson come back, we get that prolonged group that they can really do a lot with. And hopefully no one gets hurt.
Yeah. No, it really is a good thing with that group. I just need them healthy, man. Like, I want Bronson Reed to have a run. I want Bronson Reed to have a run more than I want Braun Breaker. So, like, I really need that guy to have a good one. And then, all right, so...
How about this? Could we see a Bronson Reed return in the cage match on Saturday at Night of Champions? Could he be ready just to...
Maybe. I'm not holding my breath on that, but maybe. Like, I'm not saying no, but I hope so, but I could be wrong. So, but let's scoot and boogie on this.
Yeah.
So... Jackie talking to EO, Liv comes out, they brawl. Yay.
That was about the only thing in the show that kind of stunk. I didn't care for it. It was subpar. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. No fault to anybody. It's just okay.
They're just an odd combo, like the two of them. Like, those two together is a very odd combination. Jimmy and Jay backstage. This was really good because Jacob shows up, and we've kind of hit this theme all throughout the night. The fact that Jacob's just like, I don't listen to you. I don't answer to you. I do whatever I'm told by Roman. It's the right answer. And like I said, I think it's a little bit of the way we used to do stuff versus the way we do stuff. And now, and Jacob gets it. and the Usos don't. So
and unlike Jay and Jimmy, Jacob has remained consistent. He hasn't changed his tone. Like, he acknowledges, I don't answer to him. They need to never detract from that. He always needs to maintain that mindset. I'm just checking the weather because I just got a notification. Got lightning in the area, but we're good.
well, don't get electrocuted.
No, I'll try not to. Your camera's not working, and I'm going to be like, fried chicken here in a few minutes.
It's all right.
Anyway.
It's all right. We've gotten through it. We're back in studio, and then after this episode will be the shit show, and then we'll get better.
Sure.
LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. It was actually a fun little match. Great storytelling, especially with Solo coming out, spiking Jimmy. Like,
I love
freaking,
that. I love that.
freaking LA Knight looking like, wait, what just happened? Okay, I'll take the W.
Well, didn't Solo spike Knight when Jay won? When Jay won is the Fatal 4-Way.
Wasn't that like unintentional though? Like, didn't it?
It kind of was.
Forget.
So I kind of like it because Solo now spiked Jimmy. So like it kind of benefits Solo, and then it benefits LA Knight. So is that like I told you about with like Solo like going with Royce Keys? Could LA Knight be another guy that if there's a war between Solo and Roman, does he try to get LA Knight? So is he playing politics here, trying to get allies with him? So I kind of like, that's what I liked about the match. I mean, the match was a standard LA Knight,
Yeah, you're not going to get a 5-star match out of LA Knight, but
it was good. It was entertaining. I think it got the point. It was nice to see LA Knight though get a win.
Yes,
feels like it's been a while.
I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I think LA Knight needed wins because he's been taking a lot of L's. So
yeah,
I think it kind of helped him out a little bit. And, but as we moved along, we also get this Judgment Day segment where you kind of see where Liv's all about Liv right now.
Yep.
And, there's a little bit of alienating in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, Roxanne, I feel, is really getting left out. I think Raquel's she's getting marginalized a little bit by Liv, but Roxanne's definitely being left out. JD McDonough, ever since he got shocked in the Danhausen skit, he just goes up to everybody like it's the first time he meets them and wants to shake their hand and introduce himself. It's hilarious.
It is.
Gosh. Is he going to be electrocuted and, now be a nice guy?
No, I think
that'd be funny. I think it's just funny. He's like, hi, I'm JD. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, there's a lot
he does it again, later on in the show here. Yeah, we got to get through it. We're at well over an hour and a half, so.
I know, but we've been talking about such great stuff and all our technical issues. I'm going to be in, slow motion 5-second delayed throughout all this. It's going to be great. But yeah, the Judgment Day segment was great, and it just shows Seth Rollins hyping his shit up. I'm not going to belabor that, No,
just more of the redemption arc, especially with him giving the shout out to the Street Profits. I like that.
We get a little more carry on. JD gets nominated to fight Gable next week. Okay.
It was just, I loved how Dom did that. It's such a douche move, too.
That's the bitch of the Judgment Day, though, because, the Judgment Day has all these people that are kind of douchey, and they throw all the underlings under the bus, right? It's kind of crazy.
I really think the only two people that really care about each other in the Judgment Day is Roxanne and Raquel. That's they're the only two that, honestly, would not want to put the other one in a bad position. Where Dom's like, oh, here's JD who needs medical attention because he's been electrocuted. Hey, guess what? You can fight Chad Gable next week as long as you're cleared.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I think it's great. And then we get to the main. I like that program, and it was a great way to kind of set you up for the main event tonight too.
WWE's been doing a great job of setting up their main events. With promo packages, shit like that. They have been doing a great job of setting up the main events. And, they'll cut a main event video, and you're like, oh, holy crap. This is really cool. And I was ready for this match because you got a promo, and you got the why and the history, and it was really well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I tell you what, I love the main event from this show.
I definitely did. Anything with the Street Profits, the talent is off the charts.
And it wasn't one of the Street Profits or Braun and Austin. It wasn't the best match. We've seen the Street Profits in like way better matches, but just the story it told. Logan Paul getting kicked out, and then he sneaks his way back in, and now we get Joe Hendry coming back. Nice way to, and you could look and say it might have been.
It was great. Joe Hendry pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they play his music. And
then, I was like, they were like, "Oh my God, it's Joe Hendry!" And I happened to glance, and I was like, "Oh shit, it is Joe Hendry!" And great job.
I had a strong feeling we were going to see Seth Rollins interfere in that match. I would almost put money on it, but I did not have Joe Hendry showing up on my bingo card in the middle of this.
But the Seth Rollins interference made sense.
Right, exactly.
It was that added so much nuance to the story because, Logan Paul tries to slip the brass knucks to Austin Theory, right? And then Austin Theory sees him. By the way, credit to Austin Theory because he might have had the most maniacal, deliberate hands and knee crawl over to those brass knucks that I have ever seen ever. You could see it in his eyes, oh, yeah, about to get some. And he really worked his way over. And then, Seth coming out, the music hitting, and then Seth hitting Austin Theory with the freaking brass knucks. And, it all made sense. And then Braun Breaker being out of position to make the save because he was chasing Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins standing in the crowd. And there is a little bit of a, hey, I'm just paying it back to you guys, to the Street Profits for the help they've been giving Seth Rollins. Somehow they conveyed that vibe in that match. So everything that went down in that match, I'm really stoked.
No, it was Seth did with doing that. He also like you said, he earned more credibility with the Street Profits, but he also got to stick it to the Vision again. So it was he got double results from it. It was I liked it. When creative gets stuff right, they really do a good job. But when they flub it, boy, it's
when they go chalk and they go simple. When they don't layer their stories and they don't make them robust, right? It's the difference between a comic book and a comic strip, right? Comic strip is a quick hit and it's not very in-depth. Comic book, you get a little more substance. And there's times where I feel like they're writing comic strips and not comic books. So I just, a lot of stuff with WWE lately has been hitting for me. There is some good storytelling there. There's some undertones of stories that are just carrying on, which means we're getting long-term storytelling that I've really been looking for. You know what I mean? There's some long-term stories there right now. And Judgment Day, I think I'm not going to say they're going to implode because I've been calling for their demise for a hot minute. It's part of the reason why I said they're one of the top factions ever, right? Judgment Day was found to bring all these young upcomers up to, it was there to bring them up so that they could kind of get exposed. And they're, that group has been around a hot minute and has elevated a lot of freaking people. The only person I would say that it probably hasn't elevated and kind of held back is Roxanne Perez. So,
yeah, and I think that's by design. The story.
I'm sure it is. I mean, she oozes talent, but it's definitely elevated Raquel. It's definitely elevated Dom. It definitely elevated JD. Finn didn't really need it, and he's kind of out now. All those little things.
That's what's going to be while Liv is kind of the veteran now of the group. Well, JD really is, but I'm talking about on WWE main roster. It's probably Liv as the veteran. So Judgment Day always needs to keep at least a seasoned veteran in that group. I just don't know. I don't think Liv is the right one, and that's on purpose. Because she's not really going to be that veteran, that guiding veteran, because she's too self-centered and too self-absorbed to really see the big picture. No,
she's out for her right now, and that was made abundantly clear.
Yep.
So,
and I say you keep rolling with that and add to the chaos of the Judgment Day. And then we'll see if R-Truth can bring back Judgment Day 2000 and with Finn and Priest. I love that. This is what I love about Damian Priest, and I don't want to keep us too much longer because we've been long, but like Damian Priest, he does it just as well. Like we talked about Chad Gable and not getting forgiven by Maxine in the group. I like how Damian Priest don't trust Royce Keys. I don't know whether to trust him or not. He hasn't proved me anything. And he knows with the history of Finn Balor, he's not ready to trust him. So I like the fact that he's a hard sell. You know, some people are just quick to forgive and forget. David Priest, you know, he's a streetwise guy. You know, that's his reputation. He grew up on the streets. That's what they portray. If someone's living on the street, they are not quick to forgive and forget. Sometimes they'll forgive, but they'll never forget. So I like that they're having consistency with Priest's character, and it plays off so well with R-Truth too, who just like, I just want everybody to get along and everybody be happy. Like nobody should have any enemies. That's kind of like R-Truth. It's very childlike innocence, and that's what makes it so great with him being with Damian Priest.
It is who R-Truth is, right? Like, that is who R-Truth is. So, like, I appreciate that about R-Truth. But we talked about it with Chad Gable, right? Like, certain people should be a hard sell. Like, I get that Priest is kind of like, I don't know Royce Keys. I don't trust Royce Keys. I kind of get that. I really get the Finn Balor piece, right? Like, you did me dirty. I got to get right. You know, all that shit as it applies to him.
He doesn't trust Royce because Royce he always sees Royce with Solo, and he doesn't trust Solo at all because his history with him and Solo. So Royce is guilty by association. So it makes sense. So I love how they've been writing the Damian Priest character. So get to the pay-per-view this weekend. I will not be watching the pay-per-view live. It is my wedding anniversary, and my wife and I are going to be doing something that we're going out.
Sucker.
Before your minds go get in the gutter here. No, we're going to do like fun anniversary. Probably spend way too much at a restaurant on food and drinks, but who cares? It's our anniversary. So we usually do a preview show. So Sean and I are going to talk about this after the pod. I'll get a post up at least on YouTube on when we plan on doing if we're going to do a preview show or not for Saturday. It's Saturday's PLE. So anything else you want to talk about, Sean?
You know what? We'll talk about possibly doing a preview show. We'll kind of figure it out. Obviously, I have technical issues I got to work through. I think it's just the computer.
Yeah, and we're already running long, so I don't want to. If we start talking the PLE, that's another 45 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
I mean, we kind of.
I'm not sure about the internet, but my bladder will not be able to handle another 45 minutes.
No, it's awesome, man. No, what we're going to do.
Know your old folks like, okay, we have to keep it under a certain time, not because we don't care about boring our listeners. It's the fact that can we go 2 hours without having a pee?
No, we're gonna rip the Band-Aid off. Obviously, you know, with all my travel and work and stuff, like we obviously missed last week, and I literally stood up the studio this evening. Like I was like, oh, you know, simple little things like, oh, how does my microphone hook up to this one? You know, like, so obviously we got some bugs to work out. We'll get back there. And right when we get it working, if anybody's ever seen the movie Brewster's Millions, there's a scene in there where he has there's a scene at the end where he has the interior designer. Like she's had to rework this apartment over and over again. And the whole premise is he's got to spend all this money and not have it. Well, the important part in all this is that at the end, he's in the apartment and she's like, do you like it? He goes, this is an apartment I could die in. And she goes, you really like it? He goes, I really like it. She goes, that's great. Next thing you hear, she goes, all right, boys, let's pack it up. So what's going to happen is Matt and I are going to work through all these bugs and all these glitches and all this new software and all this other greatness that's going on with Riverside right now and all our setups. We're going to get it all to work great. And as soon as it all works, I'm going to go, all right, boys, time to pack it up. And I go back to the mobile studio. So it'll be great. But folks, thanks for hanging with us. I know this is a long one. I apologize for the technical issues again. I apologize for last week, but hey, we all get busy at times. Yep. So
I think I appreciate it. We're really consistent on getting stuff out. So I think it was good too. We had a little bit of a break. So I don't know if we'll ever plan a scheduled break, maybe around the holidays, depending on what's going on. But we don't want to take breaks. So
Brock Lesnar retirement tour is going to happen in December. Last match. I mean, geez.
Is it?
No, I'm just making shit up. Like, we couldn't have taken the holidays off last year. We had a John Cena retirement tour. So, you know, it's all good. We'll always try to put out content on time for everybody. We're going to have some fun. Obviously, I'm in the doldrums of very busyness, so it's harder for us to get newer content out to you. But we're gonna work at it. We're gonna get better. We continue to talk with BC WrestlePod. We continue to talk with Nick and his podcast. So like,
Yes, speaking
over
of
at
which,
Nick Club Wrestling,
July 3rd, we're going to be on Nick's, Sean and I will be on Nick's Happy Hour on Friday. I guess he's doing something to do with the 4th of July, and he wants a couple of crusty old vets on there, and we'll talk wrestling and probably some other things. So we'll announce it again next week. But I can't believe we're almost at the end of June. This year's flying by, folks. I mean, it's crazy. I can't believe it. Getting old sucks, bro.
Oh my God, are we that close to the 4th of July here? I thought I had extra time.
That'll be, bro. That's not this Friday, but next Friday will be the 3rd of July, and I believe is that 5 or 6 o'clock? I think it's 6 o'clock Eastern. But we'll give you more details on that if you want to check us out. And also, please go check out our good friends at BC WrestlePod and also at Nick's Wrestling Happy Hour. Always fun when we get the guests on their shows and listen to their stuff. So, all right, that's all I have. Except, well, Sean's going to ask me where we would be found. So I'll tell you where we can be found without being asked for a change. She can be found on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And with that, I'm going to pass the baton back to Sean, and he can take the last lap home.
Yep, for sure. Thanks, Matt. Like Matt said, like, subscribe. We're going to hit our routine a little bit more, but as always, we're going to keep on pumping out content and keep on talking about it. Like I said, it's starting to become an exciting time for WWE again. We're getting some longer term storytelling and everything else, so it's going to be real interesting and really exciting. So stick with us. Thank you all for listening in and listening to our podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody, and we'll talk to you guys next week. All right, have a good one.
Bye.